You wake up, wander around, or you find yourself on a deserted road. Look at the time. It's 10:30. You left at 9. But to you, only 15 minutes have passed. You've been gone for an hour and a half. It's called missing time, or lost time. Well, a couple of years ago, I realized I had one experience of it when I was a kid. I'm your host, Josh Retrodad. Welcome to Strange Occurrences. Today we'll discuss lost time and the one time I had missing time. What is lost or missing time? Well, a quick explanation is exactly as it sounds. A person can't recall portions of the day. When someone tries to recall a memory, it's blank. It's amnesia, but only partial. This phenomenon is often associated with UFOs and abductions. Not always. Usually it is. A prime example is the Allagash Abductions. In August 1976, 4 men went camping, 2 brothers and 2 friends. They spent 2 weeks in the Allagash wilderness. Allagash is located in northern Maine. It's acres upon acres of land. On the second night of the trip, the men saw lights in the sky. It quickly vanished, but left one of the quartet with an odd feeling. For the next few days, nothing of note transpired that was strange. On the 4th night, they decided to go night fishing. They built a giant campfire, a big campfire. It was large enough to last 4 hours minimum, according to one of the men on the trip. They built it for multiple reasons. One main reason, to see their campsite from the water. They went into the boat, the light appears, just like it did several nights previously. It was so bright it lit up the trees. One of the men decided to grab a flashlight and strobe SOS at it. The light picked up their signal and proceeded to go over to the men. They regretted their decision to get its attention. They tried to get to the shore. The light was quickly gaining on them. The next memory the men have is being on shore. The fire was nearly out, but all the men claimed to be on the lake less than 20 minutes. They didn't talk about what transpired. They just went straight to bed, and they spent another 10 days without any strange occurrences. Several years later, they started having nightmares about what happened. They were abducted, but they couldn't recall what happened to them completely without hypnosis. They suffered missing time. It was like their memories were effectively tampered with, suppressed. Maybe there was even an attempt to erase their experiences. Maybe they did it to themselves because their memories were that upsetting. Maybe I'll get into the Allagash Abductions more in detail another time. We're just talking about missing time here. It's the early 90s. 1990, I think, actually, to be exact. I'm going to my 2nd year of church camp. My Aunt Janine's taking me. Now, when I go to church camp, it's not all kumbaya, my lord, and all that. I'm fishing the whole time. When I was a kid, I fished a lot. I knew I'd do my own worms. I knew I'd do my own hook. So I'm at church camp, and everyone knew me as the fishing kid because I'd be out there fishing.
That's a pretty monster hook, okay?
Just catching stuff, having a good old time. And I caught a bluegill this big. No, I actually caught a real big bluegill. It's actually one of the biggest bluegill I've ever seen. Now, as a kid, though, so I was like 8 or 9 at the time. But it was a really big bluegill. Now, the year before, a sad incident happened. Someone drowned. But I remember that stuck out in my mind. And actually, when I went camping with my parents at a place called Fort Stevens, some kid got lost with his dog and drowned. And you always have to respect the ocean. You always have to respect the lakes that you're in. Just a little side note about that. I live in Portland, Oregon. Where camp is, it's over by Astoria, Oregon, which is a coastal town. We're not on the ocean. We're a couple miles from the ocean, but we're close enough. I've only went 2 years, if I remember correctly. Only 2 years. And the first time I was there, I had to get a tetanus shot that stepped on a big old rusty nail on a dock. It was a big old nail right through my foot. Had to go get a tetanus shot. That was not fun. This is the 2nd year. I kind of did my own thing. I didn't have any real friends there. My aunt and my cousin was there. Now, some of the older teenagers liked me because I was out there fishing the whole time. Like, they come up and take my fish and go, hey, let me try that. You know, that's all I did. I didn't have any friends there, so I just fished. But this is where it gets, I can say, strange. And maybe they're associated with each other. I don't know. So one night, the counselor or who in charge of our bunks or whatever took a group of us to one part that's close enough to the ocean. Shooting star comes crashing through the sky. We actually heard it hit the ocean. That's how close we were. I mean, that's how I interpreted it. It hit the ocean, it sizzled. We all saw it and we were all talking about it. We talked about it for about an hour, like, oh my gosh, that was really cool. I've never seen something like that. I've never seen anything like that since. That happened that year at church camp. And I didn't really put two to two together. Just that the shooting star and what's going to happen next. So about the next day, there's a sandcastle competition. And we're all going to go from headquarters, the actual camp, to the beach. It was pretty far. And we all get on a trail. I don't remember how we get there. All I know is we're all supposed to meet at a certain spot. And we're going to go over here to the ocean. And this is where the blank comes in. I get somehow separated from the group. I'm the only one. My aunt doesn't know I'm missing. No one does.
You know, Joshua was in the back. And I bet he was in the front.
Let's hope so.
All I remember is being stuck in the middle of giant grass. You know, I'm not as tall as I am now, so the grass went up to here on me. Some of it went to here. And I just remember going through the grass, and I'm going, where is everyone? It felt like miles upon miles. So I went over this hill and saw my group. Now I'm scared doing this because I have no idea where everyone's at. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what's happening. I don't know how much time has gone. Now I get on the beach. I immediately calm down, and it kind of gets buried in my mind. No one went, hey, Josh, where were you? No one knew I was gone. I didn't even know I was separated from the group. Don't know what happened. So it wasn't until like years later where I was jotting down the Strange Occurrence episodes, and this wasn't even supposed to be one. This was not supposed to be one at all. But then I thought about it. I was like, that is kind of weird. How did I get in that grass? I have no memory of the groups leaving. I have no memory of how long I was gone, because by the time I got there, the campers are there for a while. 1 minute, one location, and then next time waking up, that like all of a sudden like, oh, where am I? And I'm walking through grass. That's the only time I've ever truly had that sensation of missing time or experienced missing time. But it was kind of weird. Like once I met the group, it faded, and I never thought about it again till many years ago. No tumor, nothing like that. No blackouts, no seizures, nothing like that. It was just an experience I cannot truly explain. Now, the paranormal stuff that happened at my house and other people's houses I experienced, or the weird animal behaviors, that's always stuck with me. But this is like one incident that kind of got buried. And I didn't think about it till a couple of years ago. Randomly kind of popped in my head and like, that's a weird event. What happened? Now, the footage you are watching is from 1990. My aunt and her friend recorded this footage. After rewatching the footage, I have more questions than answers. The earliest timestamp I have is 11:11 a.m. All I know is the campers are there for a while on the beach. And I think it took about a half an hour to get there. Like I mentioned in the Alien Talk at Church episode, I talked about the Fae. That was a common thing too. People would wake up almost like missing time with them too. It's like the same experience. I'm not saying mine's associated with the shooting star or associated with aliens or any creature. It's just a strange occurrence. The Allagash abduction case involving missing time was briefly discussed earlier on in the episode. There are plenty of other cases out there. Thousands of people have experienced missing time. It's a subject matter I may dive deeper into in a future segment. Have you guys ever experienced missing time? We're talking about missing time here. We're not talking about drunken stupors. We're not talking being passed out. Hey, I was in my 20s. I did a little bit of partying here and there. That's different. I will be doing the follow-up of the Amityville Horror next. That's my next one. I've had paranormal experiences what I call echo hauntings. They're not from me. They're not from the house. They're from someone else who comes into the house. And whatever energy they're bringing is like an echo. And I'll talk about echo hauntings in another episode. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Strange Occurrence. Stay tuned for the next one.